What is up, guys? This is Jared Spalding here, and today I want to talk about, how do you set yourself apart from every other silver stacker who is doing the same thing as you, buying their generic bullion, or whatever it is, and just stacking silver, right? I mean, it's not tough. You just buy some silver and you're done, right? So you might wonder, how do I kind of put myself ahead of them? Because I've talked about how to stay ahead of the game when silver stacking, but I've never really talked about how to distance yourself from other stackers. Put yourself in a new league of stackers that I like to say I personally am in. I mean, I guess that's up to interpretation, but I like to say personally that I am, kind of a lot more knowledgeable than most stackers, and I've said before, there's a difference between intelligence and knowledge. Knowledge is what you know about something, obviously. It's the facts you have. And intelligence is the ability to make something of those facts, right? You might know that, let's say, silver is 1601 an ounce, right? You might know that. But then, and you might also know that gold is, let's say, I think it's 1,205 an ounce. But you might also know that for every 12 ounces of silver, there's 1 ounce of gold available. But that's the knowledge. And then the intelligence, taking all those facts together, connecting the dots and realizing, oh, wait, gold is an overvalued commodity compared to silver. That's an example, of what I'm talking about, of something that really puts you ahead. Is having that knowledge is definitely a big part of it, Being knowledgeable, being able to connect the dots, and being able to make something of yourself as a stacker, Another thing that'll put you ahead is getting unique pieces. I personally need to do that. I honestly do. I don't have anything unique right now, and that's something that I unfortunately haven't been able to do mainly because of financial shortcomings, from being, 14-year-old investing in silver. It's kind of the big thing. But it's something I need to do, and I know that. That's a problem I have, And I do need to get some unique poured bullion from people like YPS, PBB, people like that, who do create some really unique stuff that carries some good premiums on it, and that's really the next thing it's a good segue into is being able to identify when you have a problem. Most stackers don't really understand if they do happen to have a problem when they're stacking. What's a flaw that they're in their plan, and then they're and if there is a flaw that's pointed out to them, then they don't want to accept it. They think, oh well, it's just up to interpretation. That's what you think, but this is what I think. It's not about what you think. It's not about opinions. When we're talking about silver stacking and making the most of yourself, it's about facts, and you need to have the facts down, right? I mean, because that's where your intelligence is going to come from with silver, obviously. So if you have a problem with the way you're stacking, if there's a problem and you know it, you need to do something about it, right? So another thing to really put yourself ahead of every other stacker is, and this is a really simple one, just know what the cost of silver is and what the melt value of every coin is. It's maybe not the melt value, but how much over face those coins are worth in melt, every US coin. Assuming you live in the United States, that is, or whatever country you live in, your constitutional silver, know what it's going to be worth over face. And so if you happen to see a good deal, you're talking to somebody in real life, you happen to see a good deal, and you don't want to whip out, their phone to figure out the price, because then they'll know too, and they'll be like, let me see the price. You know what's fair to pay. You can get a good deal on the spot, right? You need to know constantly in the back of your head what things are worth, so you can get a good deal when you're buying silver in real life. And when you're buying online, of course, that's not a problem, because you can just look at your app, and then, they won't see it or anything, or if you're on a computer, then you can go on a website. So that's obviously not going to be a big problem, but, it is something to know, because a lot of people, they don't know exactly what silver is going to be worth. Like, I remember, this is a nice little anecdote for you. Almost a year ago, right, I was talking to somebody who was a really big expert into finances. He's made a decent amount of money off of it. And, because I was out in Ohio with my dad, and this was a friend of my dad, and he's done really well, for himself with it. He has a lot of stuff, bought some really valuable stuff, and, he was doing really well for himself. And then what happened? We went to the auction. We went to an auction, right? And I want to say at the time, peace dollars melt. I'm trying to remember their melt value. See, I don't really remember older stuff, unfortunately, but I think their melt value was right around 13 an ounce or something, right? Maybe it was a little bit higher. See, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was around. No. I mean, yeah. See, I'm sorry, guys. I really can't remember. Maybe it was a little bit higher. I'm pretty sure their melt value was 13. Let's say it was 13, right? So basically, what happened was these peace dollars were selling at an auction, and they sold for 40 a piece. And he said, "Wow, I don't want to pick those up because they're going for twice their melt value." And I said, "No, they're not. They're going for 3 times their melt value." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, I'm pretty sure the melt value of a peace dollar is like 20. I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure it's around 13." We looked it up, and sure enough, it was like 13.50 or something like that a peace dollar. And he was like, "Oh wow, you're actually right." And that's the thing. He was this expert on it, and I knew something he didn't just by knowing the melt value of the coin right then on the spot at an auction. You know what I mean? I knew the melt value of the coins because he couldn't have looked it up in time before the auction was going. Those things move fast, like boom, 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 auction's done, right? So I knew before he did just from having that knowledge right there, and that's something I'm talking about, right? Because that's really going to put yourself ahead of a lot of stackers who, might know the price from a week ago. You don't want to know the price from a week ago. Screw that price. That price doesn't mean anything because it's no longer the price, most likely. Because silver's constantly moving. You need to know the price at that very moment, or at least within, the day. You need to be checking every day, and it's really easy to do, But it is something that's going to help you out a lot in getting good deals in silver. That is going to really set you apart from other people, is that. And another thing you want to do is know your stuff, know your coins. If you see a bust half dollar, you need to know it's a bust half dollar. If you, see, let's say a nickel from 1962, you have to know that's not a silver nickel, right? You have to know the years silvers were made, what type of coins they are, whatever it is. And you also have to know about whatever you're investing in, especially if you're going for nicer stuff. You have to know what key dates are. You have to, know what to look for, because if you don't, then you're going to be screwing yourself, right? You might pass up a key date because you think it's just another silver coin. Someone's asking $20 for it, right? Let's say you see a 1921 mercury dime, right? You're going for $25. It's in, let's say, MS62 condition. And you pass it up, you're like, "Oh, it can't be worth that much. It's a mercury dime. Those might be worth $20. I'm not paying $25. And you know how much that'd be worth? That'd be worth a lot of money. That would be worth around, $1,750 or so. If it's an MS65 condition, I mean, you're going to pass that up, really? You have to know what you're doing with that, right? Because otherwise, like I said, you're going to be screwing yourself. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know there's a lot more stuff to talk about, but those are just some of the basics, some of the essentials, something that anybody can do, And, yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace, love, and much respect.